Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be listening. This is Yonks, and as always, very excited here. This is now our third working group as we are collectively refining and preparing our narrative for HeroX's American Made Solar Prize Round 8 and go real quick here to the team tab. And we've got a good amount of the team participating on the live stream here today. And we've got a good amount of agenda, but also want to be respectful of everyone's time. And if we run short on the agenda, then we will give those minutes back to everybody else here today. So anyway, I also have the Google Docs linked in wherever that you may be watching this so you can unpack that. And that's one of the things that we do in a radically transparent manner. And one of the things that I want to talk about, and let me make this a little bit bigger for everybody on the screen, is that we will always build people first organizations, not a technology first approach. And I absolutely love the Belg culture, fun, earning, learning, and giving. And one of the things I want to do, we use Let Us Meet to find the most inclusive time. And I want to thank everybody for, and you can see here, it uses a nice heat map, and this is the time that we are live streaming right now. So thank you everybody for those that added your availability to this. And looking with where we're at here on September 12th, we have the submission deadline for HeroX is September 26th. And I'm actually just going to look at the timeline here real quick. So here we are scrolling down. You are here, September 12th. And then this is one of the things that I would encourage people to unpack here. I will add this as a action item for those people that are available here. Participate in upcoming, and this is the Power Connector office hours. So we will talk about that a little bit. Participate in upcoming Power Connector office hours. And here's a link for that. And I will definitely be registering for that and prioritizing so that if anybody else is, but I will summarize and unpack that for everybody as well. So anyway, going back to the timeline, the submission deadline is 3 o'clock Mountain Time on September 26th, which is literally 2 weeks away from today. And I'm really thinking that we could probably finalize things with one more working group. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then we can decide on our next working group if we need another one. So, and this is just something too that want to put forward here. The announcement for the winners is slated for December. So there's going to be a good amount of window here. And one of the things that I'm going to do between now and our next working group, this is just one of multiple opportunities that HeroX and the U.S. Department of Energy has for us to potentially get prize money. And for those that aren't familiar, the wonderful thing about prize money versus grant money is that there's a lot less red tape surrounding the prize money. And for the ready phase, there's $50,000 of prize money. And one of the things that in the Google Docs, we're going to be doing a team split if we do win prize money, 50-50 split to the team contributors. And then this is actually going to go, since we now are doing on-chain energy network, that was one of the big pivots that we had in our previous one. So we're going to do 25% to on-chain energy and gigs go green organizational treasuries. And this is the team table. If you review what I've got on here for people, if you want to modify that, everybody that's on the call here that's on our team has edit access. So feel free to do that as well. But anyway, getting back to our agenda, we don't have any new team members from the looks of it here today. So one of the things that I want to start off with, I'm going to bounce up here to the deliverables real quick. So these are the deliverables, and this is one of the things that I will be working between now and our working group here, and then also circulating the narrative. And this is where we're going to take what we've been working on surrounding the 90-second video, and want to thank Sinbad. Him and I were over at the Broomfield Library for a couple hours yesterday, and this is one of the things that we finalized on. And then also got some kudos from Nicole during our one-pager breakout, which is another one of our deliverables as far as the script that you had created, Sinbad. So thank you for the wonderful script. And if you haven't read it, you can take a look at that, and really looking forward to seeing him put together, because it's, from my perspective, I'm really glad that I didn't have to do that, because 90 seconds is not long at all. So going back here, 90-second video. And then I feel really good about the positioning. We also have an opportunity with JEDI, which stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And talking about equity, one of the things that we're leaning heavily into with On-Chain Energy Network is our cooperative ownership model. And that's one of the things that's also worth mentioning for those of you that may or may not be aware. As of April this year, I'm patent pending for the methods for the cooperative ownership of various types of property using blockchain tokens. And here's an open opportunity for anybody that would love to contribute. If it's been on your bucket list to contribute to a patent, I'm going to extend that out to all of the team members here and to the universe at large. I absolutely love collaborating on things, and we have until April to file the non-provisional patents for, and I say patents because there may be an opportunity to do multiple of those, because you think about, like, here we're talking about cooperative ownership of energy. That may look very different from a business process compared to the cooperative ownership of electric vehicles, as far as the methodology that we're going to be creating the business process patent for. So anyway, getting back to the agenda, and I'm going to let Sinbad or Nicole chime on if they would like to, as far as any of the breakout conversations from yesterday.
Yeah, I'll talk for well, first, can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. New mic, so just testing. But yeah, yeah, no. Yesterday went very well. We did finalize the video narrative. You know, did record Jason, so he will be the talking head and voice of the video. And starting this weekend, I'll be starting the actual fun process of editing and crafting it into the 90 seconds. So the intention is to have at least a version of that done by our next meeting, which will be sometime next week, I'm guessing, hopefully the end of the week. And then, yeah, we'll be off to the races, because, yeah, that'll need to be, because the competition is coming up pretty soon.
All righty. Thank you, Sinbad. And did you want to chime? Go ahead. And I see you open up your mic, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we had a great breakout session yesterday. We were talking about the one pager. So this is going to be where the script comes in into a basically a slick that is going to give a top view of who you are, what we're doing, and why it matters. And so we're going to succinctly say what the script had been about and put it into a nice visual layout.
And I'll throw a link. I'm not going to bring it up because it's pretty rough right now, but if anybody wants to take a look at this offline, and this is something that I think Nicole's going to be working on here over the weekend. So here's a link in the Google Doc for that. I'm going to go ahead and put this up here at the top in the deliverables as well, so that it doesn't get left in the dust here with our agenda. So going down to the deliverables, there's the one pager. All right. Getting back to our agenda here. So one of the things that I was working on last night, On-Chain Energy Network, as everybody really those that participated in our first working group and our second working group, the pivot from Gigs Go Green Region Village to On-Chain Energy Network was, and as I mentioned in our previous working group, On-Chain Energy had been something that had been more in the idea phase where there wasn't really any rubber meets the road. And that's one of the things that I love about things like HeroX or hackathons is that it provides a real rubber meets the road so that we can be very intentional about moving things forward. So one of the things that I did get set up is a link tree. And for anybody that's looked at what we're doing, I'm a big fan of using Linktree because it really makes things simple to have a nice look and feel. So here's the Linktree, and I think I have that set up where the and LinkedIn page. Here's the LinkedIn page. Make sure that you follow LinkedIn here. We need just to put a number behind things. Like right now, this live stream is still streaming to Retoken, the real estate DAO. And there's a threshold requirement. We have to have 150 followers. And I'm pretty sure that I followed this page, but I'm going to refresh here just to make sure. So, yep. And thank you, Jonathan, for following the page. Here's the links so that everybody else can as well. And then also we have a Twitter on-chain energy network here. And this is something, again, just spun up super, super fresh. And that's one of the things that I love. Like, if you haven't heard, one of the reasons that we're using on-chain Coinbase through their very large resources their marketing department did a study. And when you think about blockchain, crypto, Web3, they found through Coinbase's marketing efforts that on-chain most positively resonates with people at large. So we're taking the cue from Coinbase, leaning into on-chain and on-chain energy network. We're really positioning it right now as a software platform. Think of a SaaS, and that, I might even update that here for cooperative ownership of renewable energy resources. And I'm going to let that marinate with everybody. If you can think of something better, I'm absolutely open for consideration on that. Also have a YouTube channel that spun up. We're not actually live streaming this. One of the thresholds that YouTube has is like whenever you request live streaming, it's like a 24-hour process, and planning to create an Instagram and a Facebook and probably a TikTok as well, checking off the social media. And just to throw this out to anybody that's on here and the universe at large, if anybody loves social media or a particular platform and you love what we're doing, whether it's On-Chain Energy Network or Gigs Go Green, please reach out to me. I have my DMs open. LinkedIn is the best place to find me. That's where I'm spending the most of my time. I also itemize the domains that we have right now. The plan is just to do a redirect from these websites to the link tree. But anybody want to chime in some of the brand assets that we spun up here super recently for On-Chain Energy Network?
I think it fits perfectly so far. I'll sleep on it, but I think what you've described, it gets a thumbs up.
Thank you for that, John. And I see Sinbad's got a open mic, and I see it looks good from Jonathan in the comments.
Yeah, just real quick, when you went to the On-Chain Energy Network LinkedIn page, there was a logo or an image there. Is that actually a logo you're going to use? Is that just like a placeholder, like the three cubes? Is that like just a placeholder, or is that the actual logo for it?
I think Nicole's going to work on something over the weekend. We talked a little bit about that on our breakout. Like one of the things I was talking about was doing like a little solar panel, like a lightning bolt, and then like a EV plug over here. Wasn't that what we were talking about, Nicole?
That's correct.
All right,
Yep.
cool. Yep. So just because, like I said, I'll be starting on the video basically this weekend, but I'll initially focus on just correlating the stuff we shot to the B-roll to the various other video aspects. But at the end, last day of editing, any logos, any branding, anything you guys finalize, definitely send them over to me so I can incorporate them.
Will do. Thank you. And I see Nicole with the thumbs up also. All right. And not necessarily related to the conversation as far as the HeroX, but it's definitely worthwhile because like we unpacked the link tree here. The larger ecosystem that we're building out is going to fall under Triple Win Foundation, and the main online hub that we're going to have for that is 3win.social. And Nicole has been helping move the conversation forward with Buddy Boss. Buddy Boss is a WordPress theme course community, and we're also going to have a white labeled app, 3Win Social, here whether it's October. That's what I'm hoping for, because when you unpack like a timeline, we're really wanting to launch our regulation crowdfunding offerings for Colorado, the 3 synergistic cooperatives for Gigs Go Green. But just wanted to provide a real quick update as far as the progress on 3Win Social. So one of the things that want to put forward, and this is something that brought also through LinkedIn group, and I know Arvind gave us a potential attorney with securities expertise, and specifically, we're wanting somebody to assist with drafting a crowd safe. And for people that aren't familiar with what a safe is, it's an acronym: Simple Agreement Future Equity. And this is an instrument that we're planning to use in our friends and family round, which we're planning to use the securities exemption under Regulation D, Rule 504, which will allow us to raise up to 10 million. And that's specifically for the entity for acquiring the property in Thornton that we're looking to do the planned development community around. And that's something that we'll absolutely be having a lot more conversations in Q4, which is right around the corner here. October's coming fast. I can't believe it's the middle of September. So if anybody has any attorneys with securities expertise, one of the other opportunities that we're really wanting to unpack is an attorney with condo or homeowners association, and ideally with cooperative expertise as well. We do have an engaged cooperative attorney with our ecosystem, but it was really out of the scope, these two things, to provide specific assistance on that. The other professional that's been on the list to explore, and I'm going to throw a link in here for a Google Doc because I'm actually collaborating with a fellow Web3 builder, but we're looking for accountants with subchapter T and cooperative expertise. Subchapter T is where the patronage dividends come into play. And that's one of the things that we're really planning to use, like a 1099 PATR form. And that's one of the things that if we pay out, I think it's like over $10 in our cooperative model. And ideally, it's somebody that also has blockchain and or Web3 experience. So if you know of any of those, I was just looking at the Zoom chat here. Yeah, I'll also share this on Colorado blockchain LinkedIn post, and then I'll share that LinkedIn post with our business plan conversation subgroup there. One of the other things, but before I move on, as far as the seeking professionals, does anybody want to chime in? I see Sinbad's got an open mic. Go ahead, Sinbad.
Yeah, real quick for the attorneys, because you've been you were at 1 Million Cups Boulder, now Pitch Boulder, a few times. I would definitely talk to Ian, one of the main organizers there, because he's from KL Law Firm. I've sought his like legal thing for a few times, and if he can't be that person, he definitely knows someone who can be those people. So I would say either if next time you're there, or if you can send me the specific details you need, because I'm there every Wednesday, I can grab them and just go like, hey, can you handle either of these, or do you know somebody who does either of these?
Awesome. Thank you for that, Sinbad. And I'll put that here too as a potential attorney. And I think I'll start, I think with my timing, I don't know about next week, but I've been having a conflict in the morning that's winding down here with kernel community. And then Arvind had another one here too. Referral from Arvind. All right.
I think
So one
that's
of
the
the other,
same Ian Kuliash as the same person
Yep.
I think we're talking about.
Yep. Ian Kuliashis. Yeah.
okay, cool. Awesome. And as I mentioned, I have a Google Doc. I didn't get it linked in here, but I'll throw that in and circulate as far as after I get some details added with the account. That's a little bit of a lower priority just because we're pre-launch and but anyway. So one of the other things that I really want to encourage everybody to continue to unpack, I mentioned the upcoming office hours over here. There's a good amount of resources for people here. One of those that I specifically want to talk about, and this is something that I think I have an open tab right here. So join the National Community Solar Partnership, and they Department of Energy just expanded this with a plus. I'm not sure exactly what the plus means. This is something that I've been in for a while. And one of the things that we will likely have some conversations around is seeking technical assistance for our project, primarily the Regen Village, which is a project that we absolutely are wanting to move forward here in Q4. But I'll throw this link in Zoom for everybody as well, because again, this is and when I was looking earlier today, I'm pretty sure that there's over 2,000 people that are participating in this, and they also have a nice weekly summary, the email summary that goes on as well from that. So anyway, like I said, this was the agenda that I had unpacked here for today, and I just want to provide an opportunity for anybody else to chime in some thoughts. Otherwise, we can bring this to a little bit of a close, and you all can have the remaining time for the rest of your Thursday evening.
Jason, a quick question. For the letter of support, are you interested in more than just like from I have a couple of strategic outside firms that are partner firms that I think would be very helpful with letters of support, that are impact real estate, impact analytics and so forth. And so is that a good thing? And do you have a template for the letter of support so I can just get mine done and submitted?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up. This is one of the other. This is actually an optional, and I don't think that we have a limit as far as the number of letters of commitment or support that we can include, and the more that we can just get because this is something that we hadn't done a great job of in 2023 is getting letters of support or letters of commitment, and like Ted, I asked Ted for a potential letter of commitment because the opportunity with him with supercharge.earth to be a cooperative member within on-chain energy network and get energy for his EV charging locations. That's a real opportunity, and like it's a one pager, and when we get those drafted, that's actually something that I'm going to work on tonight, John, that I'll get that over for you as well. And that's again, anything that we can do along the letters of commitment or support. There's several other people that I've gotten commitments to provide, and that's something that I'm going to get them a draft so that they can add any final things that they want. But I'm really glad that you brought that up. And anybody else that wants to contribute that. That would be fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm envisioning a format of introducing our company or the entity and a paragraph on advocating for the concept and the social environmental impact, as well as the asset value, and then a commitment of participation of some sort, and then a support, a statement of support from a philosophical standpoint. So kind of 4 pieces, 1 page, and maybe even some graphics with them. But yeah, we've got lots of good content for that'll show you the 3 sides that we can make a positive impact with.
Yeah, and I do think that they want that to be limited to 1 page, just to alleviate. But yeah,
3 companies, 1 page each.
Great. So looking over, I'm pretty sure the main thing that I'm going to be again working on, and this is something that I'll circulate the narrative. I'm going to start going through the submission form because that's something that can save and come back later. And then I'll also work on getting everybody some of the feedback that we had. I don't know if it's really that relevant because it was a very different narrative, and even pivoting from Gigs Go Green, Regen Village here to On-Chain Energy Network with the Gigs Go Green is where we're going to really be proving out this software as a service solution platform for cooperative ownership. But yeah. All right. Well, does anybody else want to chime anything before we bring our 3rd working group here to a close on Thursday afternoon, evening?
Yeah, just 1 or 2 quick things, mostly out of curiosity, because you mentioned a couple things to do with like other real estate elements. I was just kind of curious. Is that what you told me about a while back when you showed me Regen Village, like acquiring things around there? But I also heard like exponentially expanding into other states even. So just kind of like a little curious what that was.
And I see John's got his hand up. Go ahead, John.
No, please answer, and I've got a different question.
Okay, great. So yeah, we're wanting to build Gigs Go Green so that it can scale strategically on a state-by-state basis. And this is one of the things that we will like be able to architect economic incentives into, whether it's like a 1 or 2% development fee, or like one of the big opportunities that exists are project management professionals, because like you think about the time from identifying like churches. We've got churches.gigsgogreen.org. We've shortlisted, and I was talking a little bit before we went live about the alternative fuel corridors here in Colorado. So like there's an opportunity for people to have conversations that might have relationships with some of these churches here in the Front Range. And that's something that we're going to be more intentional, because we really want to create a pipeline of projects. And you think about the ability to do projects in parallel. We'll only have so much capacity to do projects here in Colorado, but this is really a national and global opportunity. Oh, and I do have, and I'll come back to that. Remind me, John, if I don't, but I wanted to unpack a survey that I just saw on the energy subreddit. But did that answer your question, Sinbad?
I mean, enough for now. It was just kind of, I think I still have on my brain the main narrative we're doing for the competition. So when I heard additional real estate, it just threw me for a little bit of a loop. So this is more of a long-term, like how to grow the future kind of a thing. So I'm sure we'll continue those conversations going on. But as far as my needs for today for this conversation, I think I'm all good. I might talk to you very quickly offline once this meeting's over, just for a final couple points before I get started on making the video and telling the story.
Yeah, no, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that come together. But like just talking about like on-chain energy network, what the Department of Energy is looking for with Solar Prize Round 8 as something that's going to be commercially viable in a 3 to 5 year time frame. So like there's a lot of runway over the next 3 to 5 years for us to create potentially dozens of gig scope green assets, and going to be leaning heavily into solar EV, and may even call this energy for Christ just to simplify the narrative. And that's something else too that's very much in our ecosystem is a For Christ Foundation, and that's a sub ecosystem with what we're doing here. Because you think about like faith-based organizations that have a constituent base, higher trust, the opportunity to be great stewards where the constituents could potentially invest in community-owned and operated resources. And then you start stacking, like we were talking about, the energy tax credits. And this is the Evergreen Marketplace that I was showing, I think, before we went live. These are some of the locations, and a good number of these locations that we've put on this map here in Colorado are faith-based organizations. So, but anyway, over to you, John.
Apologies, I thought you talked about Evergreen, Colorado, not Evergreen locations. So check me off on that. Forget about what I said. Secondly, yeah, we're directly aligned with your scalable, repeatable. With these energy projects, there's a real opportunity to enhance permeability and stuff. When we get to funding these solar canopies, we can do some regreening, I think. There's some regreening and permeable surfaces we can add to those projects. Just thinking extemporaneously. But the reason I raised my hand was I thought there was something for Arvind and I to collaborate on with regard to investment level or pro forma or something. But I just want to make sure if that's not part of this Solar Prize Round 8, or if there is a bit of a cost assessment we need to look at. I can't remember.
And yeah, that's something that, and I don't know if Arvin wanted to chime in, but from like a deliverable standpoint here, and just going back real quick to the deliverables, that's not a requirement that we
Okay.
have in our submission here. I
Good.
think that there's a real, and one of the things like talking about the business plan, like with the region village, with that specific one, really wanting that to be just for the parcel acquisition. And then the build out is going to be a separate SPV and business plan. So really all that we're wanting to do with this initial SPV is to do the demolition costs, and then any of the construction cost and related to the building will be in a separate SPV that we can do a separate capital raise for. But we'll also have the regulation crowdfunding. But regulation crowdfunding will only allow us to raise up to 5 million. But that's one of the things that we're definitely going to get good at, is figuring out the process of tokenizing multiple assets. And that's one of the things that I'm really excited to have tokenomics conversations surrounding to create economic incentives. And like one of the things that we mentioned in the video that's worth mentioning here too, that we're really planning to do, is to cap investor dividends at 15% so that we can drive other above 15% dividends towards the cooperative members and low and moderate income community solar subscribers that we're going to be building out in through On-Chain Energy Network, through these distributed energy resources that we're going to be building. All right. Well, does anybody else want to chime in? Any thoughts, questions, considerations? I'm going to go real quick back to the power connector resources here. I'm planning, just looking at a calendar here, thinking out loud. I'm going to be flying to Detroit on September 25th in the afternoon, but I am going to book a follow-up conversation on the 25th. The narrative is due on the 26th, but really wanting to have all of our deliverables finalized by the weekend of September 22nd. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and see if anybody else wants to chime in, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Yeah, I'll just chime in for like 2 seconds that yeah, my intention was always to have the video done by like the 20th or 21st, so make sure to get that deadline for you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this towards the finish line.
And I'm looking forward to seeing your 90 seconds of magic there, Sinbad.
Can I ask a question to Jonathan? I didn't get to ask it last time I was here. Is that okay, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is your expertise, Jonathan, only in Colorado, or are you well versed in other states?
Are you asking me or John?
Who's the one that does the licensing? I thought it was you. Am I wrong?
The licensing for what specifically? I'm sorry.
Uh, State licensing for I don't know. I thought it was you. Am I confused, Jason?
Well, as I understand it, John works with an engineering firm, and there really isn't a need for any licensing yet. We're still in, pro forma feasibility, prior to a project execution plan. So there is more than enough qualification for this project already in the call. And my, I guess my expertise is not formally in Colorado. This will be my first project in Colorado. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have some projects on the East Coast and Washington State. But I work in a similar project space. So I'm hoping to use this project as an opportunity to become more familiar with the Colorado district, or excuse me, the Colorado jurisdiction. But I work with industrial electrical engineers with Cardano and NASA, and the high level engineering and industrial specificity. It's pretty broad and universal. So, like I said, based on where I see this project is now, there's more than enough qualified engineering. When we get into more software development, I think that's where my expertise will be able to help transition this model into a multi-state deployment, specifically offering strategic counsel on what jurisdictions we should go into next. Ideally, we'd want to have relationships with engineering anywhere we're trying to do projects. So it's really going to be presuming this project continues to evolve the way it's currently evolving, then at some point in development we would do a broadcast for more potential engineering resources as needed for future projects. And if there is a need, I'm also confident that within this group there'd be the ability to bring in whatever engineering we need. So personally, I think we're in good hands from a technical standpoint at this point.
Okay.
And did that answer your question, I am Lotus?
I'm not sure if he was the one that talked last week about licensure or something like that, but I'm not sure I got the right person. So that's okay. I will keep listening. Maybe I would find out later on. Thank you. But
yeah, well, and
I
don't like
yeah,
I was just going to encourage you to take a look at the AI notes and see if you could potentially
can
find that
yeah,
here. And I've got those all linked in the Google Docs as well. But talking about like since we've went a little bit into the multi-state expansion. One of the most strategic states, when you think about a state-by-state model for us to really consider, is Minnesota. And there's several reasons why. Minnesota has, first of all, very favorable community solar regulations. And that's one of the mechanisms that will really allow us with on-chain energy network to become the energy company with these distributed energy resources that we're going to be building out. The second reason that Minnesota is also strategic, like when you unpack Excel, the energy company, Excel also does business in Minnesota and is actually headquartered in Minnesota. So getting great at engaging and getting our distributed energy resources interconnected with the utility and the opportunity for us to leverage the expertise that we garner here in Colorado with navigating that. It'll probably be a similar dynamic in Excel's markets there in Minnesota as well. And another state that has very favorable community solar regulations is New York. And we all know that there's a lot of people in New York. And then another one is Illinois. And I can't remember if we were on the live stream, but John was talking about some potential opportunities in Ohio. And Tyler and I have family in Ohio, and very optimistic about Columbus as far as college town, and going to have a lot of growth. And real estate is still decently affordable in Ohio compared to Colorado and Denver area, for example. All right. Well, I guess you're not going to get as many minutes back as I thought, because we continued on the conversation, which is quite okay. But anybody else want to chime in? Any thoughts before we bring this to a wrap here today?
Just want to thank everyone. This has been a robust conversation, and we're looking forward to getting this HeroX down pat. This is our third?
This will be our third submission for Solar Prize. We've done other HeroX, and that's one of the things that I will again take a look and see if there's any additional opportunities that may make sense for us to look at here in Q4. Because as you've seen here, the ability to really and when I was looking at how much dollars Department of Energy through American Made Challenges has awarded over $250 million of prize money. So yeah, and going back to the National Community Solar Partnership, if you haven't joined that, I would definitely encourage you to, because the more that people are looking at that, the more that can amplify some potential opportunities. And one of the things that is worth mentioning here is that I'm actually planning to create a post on the National Community Solar Partnership platform to specifically start unpacking cooperative ownership software solutions. Because one of the things that with where we're at right now, the opportunity to potentially use somebody else's software, because one of the things that I know that's going to be very unique about how that we're building is our ability to use blockchain technology. And I think that that's one of the differentiators that we're going to be capturing or building into on-chain energy network here over the coming years. But just getting feedback so that we're not necessarily prematurely reinventing the wheel. And then the opportunity to see what's working well or what's not working as we continue to build out these and pipeline. That's really what I want everybody to keep in mind, is pipelining projects with the efforts that we did here around shortlisting these churches. This is an opportunity that's going to start leaning into pretty heavily here in Q4. And really rubber meets the road on some of those, because those conversations with faith-based organizations can sometimes take a while with anything. I mean, like the getting the letter of intent, there's going to be, wherever we're at, going to be bureaucracy involved with getting the right stakeholders to say yes to the decisions. And even like you know, there's going to be bureaucracy involved for getting whatever we want to get built here approved by the city of Thornton. Because right now this parcel is zoned agricultural, so it's got to get rezoned regardless of what we end up building on the property in Thornton. But anyway, if anybody else wants to chime in anything, open up your mic. Otherwise, we're going to bring this to a wrap. I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share here. And appreciate all the lively conversation in the chat there, Jonathan. And for people that aren't following Jonathan on LinkedIn, you're one of my favorite people to follow because you are always sharing worthwhile stuff. So thanks. Keep up the good work there on LinkedIn.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, and I'll get the email out with the let us meet here so that we can get that on the calendar for probably late next week. Thursday or Friday seems to work pretty well for people, and that'll fall in line, I think, pretty well so that we can work on putting a bow tie on all of this to get our projects submitted by the deadline. So thanks, everybody.